Good o'clock. Okay, welcome to Rogues Gallery. First event, Foul Play NA. Today we're casting two top NA players, Stryker and Gypsy. Our casters are two top NA casters.
Top of the line. So yeah, if you're asking what Rogues Gallery is, it's just a couple of friends from NA that decided we need some more tournaments and show matches in the NA scene. We're not going to let EU show us up, so yeah, we're hoping to make this more of a regular thing, start some show matches and tournaments. Today's match is going to be a best of 5. Players, we started off with bans for each map, and we're going to go for loser's pick. The map pool is the same map pool from ASTL, and we got a Matcherino link to handle a prize pool.
It's like $85. So
yeah, we're throwing around cash like it ain't no thing over in NA.
Life-changing money for Canadians.
Yeah. If you're enjoying this event, keep an eye on Team Liquid. We post our updates there. Hopefully we'll get a Discord server going at some point.
Okay. Remember, BWCL is starting. Go support that league. There's also Rookie Star League starting up, opening to people below 1350 MMR. And tomorrow is STPL finals.
All right, and with that, I think it's about time for us to get started with our first match. It's going to be on Eclipse. Once again, it's Stryker versus Gypsy. And just waiting on our Zerg player. He keeps us patient.
It's probably saying some prayers.
Yeah, starting off on Eclipse, a little bit of a hard map for Zerg in my opinion. I mean, two-player maps in general are pretty difficult for Zerg to work with. There's just not a whole lot of bases for you to sneakily take.
The flex team's hard on this map for Zerg.
Yeah. One thing to note, there is that double gas base in the top left. So through some miracle, Zerg is able to secure that. They're going to be able to be in a super solid spot going into the late game. But yeah, looks like we're about to get right into things. Game 1 on Eclipse. All right. And the bottom left, we have the Terran player playing in white. It is Gypsy.
Top right, Zerg player, Stryker.
So yeah, this map, nothing particularly special about it as far as two-player maps go. I already noted the two-gas base, but yeah, overall it's pretty standard. One thing to note is that Terran can kind of just sit their army between the natural third base of Zerg, which would be at like 12/1 o'clock here, and their natural, and just keep moving back and forth to keep pressure on the Zerg. So it's pretty hard for Zerg to keep their third base without taking damage.
Do you usually see 2-hatch on this map?
Yeah, definitely 2-hatch. Just in general, that's the biggest meta pick right now, and we'll have Gypsy going for 4 to 8 racks. Not something that's super common for Gypsy to pull out, is from the games that I've seen at least. I think he's trying to get in Stryker's head a little bit, as they do have quite a history together. They've played a lot of games.
Do you think Gypsy's confident about this series?
Definitely. We were talking about it a little bit last night, and I won't share the exact phrases that he used, but he was confident, we'll say that.
I see.
But it looks like Stryker's going to go for 12-hatch, so there is a big possibility for this 8 racks to do some damage. If we had seen like 11 or 12 pool, most likely it would have gone Stryker's way, but yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Stryker really likes 12-hatch.
Yeah.
He's not going for the greedy pull though. It's a 12-hatch 11 pull, so.
And he's also going to scout it.
Okay, so how many CVs do you usually pull with this?
I usually just bring 2 and just try and aim to get some drone kills, but it's also totally valid to pull 5 to 6 and really go to bust that natural. But we also see that Gypsy's taking a gas behind this, so we have potentially a 1-1-1 follow-up.
Looks like a proxy factory.
Yeah, it could also be a floated factory into the main base, which is another great idea. But Stryker is aware of this forward 8 rack, so he's pulling some drones preemptively, getting ready to try and defend against that first bunker that gets placed. But honestly, I think this is going to be a super low commitment. 8 racks from Gypsy. He's just going to try and force an overcommitment from Stryker. Try and get a couple drones, but look at that drone micro almost immediately killing that first Marine.
Nice hit.
Yeah.
I don't know if Stryker saw the gas. Usually, you want to scout it. So.
Yeah. And we do see the factory going down at 12 o'clock, so Gypsy is looking to float it into the main most likely, while he's distracting with the Marine aggression at the front. But we see there's only 2 Marines here right now, and doesn't look like more are being sent across the map. So, like I said, this is a super low commitment build. Just going to pull back.
He already got 2 drones.
Yeah, 2 drones. So for an 8 racks with that little commitment, I think that's about even after that. But the real game changer is going to be when this factory floats on the main. And right now, there is nothing for Stryker to spot it at all. So we'll see if he has some Giga Chad Galaxy Brain plays and scouts it.
Okay, he sees no natural CC, so...
Yeah, so he has to be wondering if it's going to be a 1-1-1 follow-up, or if it's maybe just like a high ground command center and he's trying to fake out Stryker. But we're going to do 1 vulture at the front, float in, another vulture in the main. And I wonder if Stryker's going to notice the angle that this vulture's coming in is a little bit strange.
Yeah, it's really weird.
He probably would have, if it just came across map, he probably would have saw it with the Lings. So we'll, yep. And
he goes directly, yeah.
He just pulls that 1 Ling, sees it. He's actually going to let it land, but Gypsy just pulls back. So, yeah, not a great start to this game for Gypsy, gotta say.
You think Gypsy's behind?
I'm no professional esport gamer, but my money...
You're just a professional caster.
Right. Totally 2 different things here.
Yeah, but us casters are known for our game knowledge, so...
Definitely. But yeah, it looks like Stryker's just taking this in a normal mid-game. We've got that Spire coming down super quick. Gonna start applying pressure with the Mutalisks, and this is a moment where Gypsy's opener is super weak. He's gonna have to commit pretty heavily with turrets to defend against these quick Mutalisks. We see Starport coming down, but it is so late. Like, we just have nothing right now. We have no Marines, we have no turrets. I mean...
Do you eBay first after this, or do you have to go eBay, right?
Well, I don't do builds like this because I have a modicum of self-respect. But when you do this build, you do need a quick eBay because I mean, like this Spire is already more than halfway done at this point. Like, what do we have in the main base for Gypsy? We have a couple Marines in a bunker, and that's it. No academy, no eBay.
So his range is gonna his stim is gonna take forever.
I think he's actually. Yeah, I mean, Wraiths are okay. Oh, it looks like we're going into Valkyrie.
Yeah.
So this is actually pretty good if we're able to survive the initial Mutalisks. Oh, trying to bust in to get some drone kills. Okay, here we go. Small opening. We get a couple of Lings and a drone for 2 vultures. Could be worse. I mean, those vultures are probably just going to die as soon as Mutas hit the map, so could be worse. Yeah. But he's also cutting this eBay timing super short. Those turrets are probably just going to finish right in the nick of time. So yeah, we have 1 Wraith to clear the Overlords, and then from here, most likely we're just going to go straight into Valkyries. And nice Vulture denied that.
Yeah, that's
denying that 3rd drone. So yeah, he's going to force these Mutas to chase the Vulture for a little bit, and that's going to give him probably exactly enough time to secure those turrets.
That's a late academy.
Yeah, I mean, going 1-1-1 like this, you really have to delay your academy. And I mean, he even got his armory before his academy. He's super committed to defending with these Valkyries. And I mean, there's gonna be a long time if Stryker decides to go for +1 armor on his Mutalisks. It's still a long while since that's away. So
Dude, that repair is
that
nuts.
repair was so clutch. You guys don't know how hard it is to get your SCVs properly on your turret like that, and Stryker's Metal is taking quite a bit of damage, not getting a whole lot of SCV kills for their trouble.
Yeah, it feels bad.
And here comes the first Valkyrie, so right away, nice micro. Right away, those mutas have to back out. Quick Queen's Nest coming out of Stryker, so he's looking
He's
to check
skipping
out.
workers.
Yeah. Who needs those? I mean, seeing the Valkyrie gives you a little bit of safety in the sense that, I mean, most likely you need Terra needs to hit a critical mass of Valkyries before they can move out on the map. So you have some time. Whether that's enough time to tech straight to Hive and get your defenses ready, I'm not quite sure. But it looks like he's going to go for a dive on these Valkyries with these Scourge. We see Gypsy, nice. Incredible micro, just eviscerating those Scourge, and mutas are forced to back up.
I think Stryker is probably just droning behind this.
Yeah, it looks like it. Just he added a couple more mutas, and now it looks like it's all drones taking up to Hive at the same time. So he definitely recognizes that he has a couple minutes where he's safe. And if he had been able to take out a Valkyrie or two, then that extends that time even longer where he's safe.
I'm curious how he's gonna hold the Marine Medic. If he's just gonna go muta lane against it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He went straight to Hive and he's getting that third gas, so we'll see. He also has an Evo chamber, so he's not going to fall too far behind on armor upgrades. And Gypsy, wow, he actually saves that Valkyrie. That's incredible. And now he's up to 4, and this is where things start getting real dicey.
Yeah.
Zerg just straight up cannot fight these with Mutalisks. Like,
I can't tell if his natural saturation's just low or if Stryker's managed to kill some.
he has been managing to keep the count low. You see that Gypsy has to continuously transfer from the main, so, and he's still making SCVs, so he's looking to get properly saturated again. Gypsy's starting some scans, so it seems like he's going to get ready to move out soon. And yeah, we're going straight to Ultralisks, so it seems like that's going to be his answer to this Marine Medic push. But it's already moving out on the map now. Ultralisk Cavern only halfway done.
Yeah, it's just gonna be mutiling Scourge, I guess. It's only 10 Marines though, so.
Yeah, it's quite small. We see Gypsy teching back into vessels from Valkyries. Obviously, as the game gets later on, Valkyries just kind of decrease in value.
I think, I'm curious where Stryker's gonna take his fort base, I think.
Looks like top left is his choice for now. Obviously, if Gypsy isn't aware of that, and he's able to mine from double gas for a while, he's going to be in a great spot. But that base is super easy to assail. It's not an extremely defensive position. But Gypsy just waiting for a couple more rounds of reinforcements. We have our +1 weapons, so we are ready to roll, move across the map. And
+1 should finish soon for Zerg too.
yeah, he's got +1 armor.
Okay.
So no upgrade discrepancy, but there's only unupgraded ultras along with this.
Gypsy loses this fight.
That's a huge number of lanes, and it gets a great focus area on Marine Medic, and just without, that's it. GG, he's out. Stryker starts the series off 1-0.
Wow.
Wow. He didn't even need that Ultralisk, honestly. He just had the pyramid away.
That ultra.
So, I think Gypsy might be a little bit clown building it up on that first game. I don't know exactly how practiced that build in specific was. I do like going for Valkyries against Stryker. He's definitely a super heavy Mutalisk player, but seemed like a couple of his timings were off, and just moving out with that small amount of Marine Medic, not able to even get across the map.
Why do you think he went with that build?
I think he wanted to throw off his opponent going into this. Like I said, they have quite a history together, and for the most part, Gypsy just plays super safe or even greedy. He likes to open command center first a lot, so I don't exactly hate the idea, but Stryker did respond properly. He dealt with the 8 racks, he scouted the factories, so from that point forward, Gypsy was already in a pretty rough spot. But we're moving on. Map number 2 is going to be Optimizer.
I'm expecting, as you said, CC first, maybe something very standard this game.
Yeah, Optimizer, super interesting map. Obviously, it's got the double gas in the main, so a lot of Terran players take the opportunity just to go play mech in this matchup. Obviously, having double gas and then the third gas when you take your natural, just a ton of gas to play around with your mech units. So you can, for instance, you can get Goliaths and vessels and upgrades. You don't have to choose 2 of the 3.
It's just an all-you-can-eat.
It's really an all-you-can-eat buffet of Vespene gas.
Have you played this map much? I haven't played it much.
No, I haven't. I had the opportunity to play this for Brood War Clan League, and I turned it down because...
Why is that?
I'm just, I don't know, man. I started playing this game too recently. I can't start playing weird maps already. I'm not even, like, sick of Fighting Spirit yet, so...
I have a question about this map. Like, when I watch pro games, the pros rarely take the second gas in their main. Like, they'd rather take, like, a third base and then take that third gas before they take that second gas in the main.
Yeah, the strats have been really interesting. I watched a lot of the ASTL games on here, at least the Terran ones, and yeah, you're definitely right about that. Another thing is, I think the main gas geysers have like half the total gas.
Both of them, or just one?
Something like that. I'm not sure actually. Maybe you could click on it and check. But yeah, they do mine out pretty quickly. So, oh yeah, only 1,000. So. Yeah, that's gonna mine out super quickly, but you are able to hit some just absolutely insane timings if you take them early enough. But it looks like it's just gonna be a normal Rax expansion coming out of Gypsy. He hasn't taken... oh yeah, nope, there's a gas. So I think we're gonna see mech this time. I don't expect Gypsy to open 1-1-1 again. Just not really his style of play necessarily. Not that mech is necessarily either, but it's a lot more standard on this map.
I think it's really demoralizing to play 1-on-1 and get slapped. Yeah.
This is kind of the nature of the build, though. I mean, it's so vulnerable. Yeah, there's so many timings where Zerg can just like walk in with 30 Zerglings and totally ruin your day. Yeah. So it's not the most stable build in the world, but I mean,
you feel like a genius when it works. But yeah.
Yeah, you do feel like a galaxy brain when it works, but those opportunities are far and few between.
Unstable build for unstable players.
Yeah, yeah. Really the NA motto, if I could coin it.
Yeah. Stryker loves his like super standard builds.
Well, I mean, in a matchup like Zerg vs Terran where you're at such an advantage, there's not really a huge need to deviate from the standard. I mean,
I'm sorry, which side is advantaged?
Zerg.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So when you go 2 hatch realistic, I mean, you're already at like a 75% odds to win the game, so I don't know why you would.
Honestly, the matchup is nearly unwinnable for Terran.
Yeah, some would say that. Some really smart, handsome people. But yeah, Gypsy pulled out a gas and he's just making his natural CC soon, so looks like it's going to be some standard sort of mech build. Not expecting a delayed starport.
So in these positions, I'm wondering on this map if Terran ever just pushes straight up from mana call.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of vulture harass that happens in that back path, keeping drones off the mining at the bottom minerals. For instance, Ample played a couple games on this map, Terran vs Zerg, and the dropship play and vulture run-by play that he was showing was super spectacular. Every time that he was moving out on the map with his army, he would unload a couple vultures in the main, or do that run-by at the natural. So there's a lot of opportunities to harass Zerg here, using the strange terrain.
Yeah.
Oh, and we got Hydras. So,
that's strange timing for a Hydra.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because usually the Hydra Den, if you're going for like a lurker bust or something, it comes down halfway through the lair being finished. so that they finish simultaneously. Looks like Gypsy's going to try a run by using this SCV to tank a sunken shot, but he messed up the micro, and there's already Zerglings there regardless. So
he's going to late scan. So
yeah, well, this is pretty standard actually for mech. You really delay your scans as late as possible. Obviously, costing you 50 gas per scanner is quite a bit. But we see a huge Zergling speed run by, and Gypsy's trying to retreat his racks in time, but those Zerglings are already just about there. I think we're just about to lose the game. We're not going to be able to block
There'll
this.
be 2 Vultures making, but they're going to be in a bad position. Or just 1.
And he's out, down 2-0, and just under, what was that, like 10 minutes? Not even? Maybe a little longer. But Stryker taking an absolutely demanding lead. We're not even able to see what Gypsy's game plan was game 2. Next up we have Empire of the Sun. Sorry, New Empire of the Sun. I don't want to offend the resident feudal system.
I'm surprised he lost to a Limo runner. I mean, I guess it's not that easy to scout, but it's like a very standard ladder thing.
Yeah, he had the Vulture there, but I mean, once you see it coming, it's too late to build the bunker, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get into this game number 3. Stryker up 2-0, Gypsy looking to pull it back, or maybe he's just going to give up. I'm not entirely
The good thing
sure.
about this is that the prize pool is split 70-30, so even if Gypsy loses, he gets 30% of $80-something, which is a lot of money for him.
He lives in Canada, so, I mean, that's real spending money over there.
I think his entire family will benefit from this show match.
We're truly pulling Canada out of poverty single-handedly with this show match series, so make sure to match that that matcherino. Go submit that coupon code. Go donate that extra money. Lord knows
every dollar benefits generations of Canadians.
True, truly. Empire of the Sun. I've played a couple games on this map, not entirely willingly, but it's actually really hard for Zerg as far as I know. I mean, there's not a whole lot of high ground or any high ground bases to take. Everything is just super flat.
So you're saying maybe it's like 50-50?
Right, so Terran actually has a chance on this map. Hopefully he doesn't die to speedlings immediately, but I mean, we're talking about Stryker here, so who knows. He's been talking to Crossy too much. That Canadian Zerg style is rubbing off on him.
It's really, it's crazy what poverty does to a person.
I mean, you're just driven to these extremes shit. Anything to make money, anything to make a dollar, even going so low as to speedling all in on Optimizer.
Yeah. Well, how do you think Gypsy feels? I really think it'll be like a bio-based FE.
Yeah, I'm expecting Gypsy to play super standard for the rest of the game. He came into this series really confident, so I assume his mindset right now is like, okay, we had the fun games, we had the clown games, but now it's time to get down to brass tacks.
I'm sure he's taking it very positively,
Oh yeah, taking it in stride. And Gypsy, like I mentioned, he's going for his default build, which is that 13 command center, or maybe 14, but going for a command center first either way. And Stryker's going to get a first scout off, so we'll see if he delays putting down his spawning pool enough to go for 3 hatch before pool.
Yeah, that's a nice response.
Well, unfortunately, the pool goes down first, but yeah, and now there's actually a pretty hard spot. 2 hatchery play against command center first is really tough for Zerg. Terran just has such a huge mineral income that right when those mutalisks hit, Terran is swelling with minerals, so they have enough money for all the turrets, they have money for 2 racks production, and non-stop SCV production too. So Terran really gets it all. That's a good
description. They're definitely very swollen with minerals.
Yes, engorged, one would say.
Well, I wouldn't say that's a little vulgar, a little suggestive.
Sorry. Got to keep it family friendly for the Rogues Gallery.
Yeah. This 13cc I played against Gypsies a bunch. It hits really hard because I think Terran just gets everything right. You get your +1 on time, you get your range on time.
Yeah. You really don't lose out on anything here. Obviously, if your opponent opens for pool first, like 11 or 12 pool, it can be a little bit dicey. But honestly, if you just pull a couple of SCVs to your natural and defend there, worst case scenario, you're coming out of that even, unless like you mess up your micro or something. But
Yeah,
I shouldn't say worst case scenario. I shouldn't say worst case scenario, because worst case scenario is they just run by and you lose. But if you do the micro properly, you have hold position SCVs, you're going to trade just about evenly.
Yeah.
And also you see that Gypsy delayed his scout until like 2 supply ago. So, I mean, Gypsy's just cutting every single corner possible, and he's not going to get punished for it.
I guess when you 13cc, you're kind of saying whatever happens, happens. Right?
Yeah, whatever happens, happens. But yeah, it's looking a little bit worrying for Stryker going into that mid game. If Gypsy's able to identify where Stryker's third goes down, he's going to be able to put so much pressure on it. Since there's no ramps into the main base, he's just going to be able to walk straight in there.
It'll probably be at 7 o'clock. I think these positions aren't so bad because third is cross map from turn. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, putting it at the natural is definitely super helpful. When you open with Mutalisks, Terran isn't really able to scour the map with SCVs to look for bases, so they have to expend scan energy on it, which isn't optimal because obviously Terran wants to keep an eye on your drone count, your tech position, all of that. So trying to find a sneaky spot to put that third base, like you mentioned, 7 o'clock, is a really smart way to go about it. But everything looking super standard from Gypsy. Academy's just about to come up, so he's going to be able to start Stim. And Spire is about to finish for Stryker, so we're about to move into the mid game of this Terran vs Zerg.
Stryker's second gas seems a little delayed. I think it's just going to be 5 or 6 mutas and then drones and then mutas again.
Yeah, that's been a pretty popular way to play it from Terran, is just go for the minimum amount of Mutalisks that you can really get away with, and then just drone up super heavy. But Gypsy's already taking a strong position on the map. Stryker's deciding not to put down any sunken colonies, so these first 5 Mutalisks are going to have to make it magic happen. And we're even losing these 4 lings. Yeah, I think this is actually just going to end the game immediately. 5 Mutalisks can't do enough damage to out DPS a whole control group of and we even see him. He knows he's got to make something miraculous happen here. Obviously, range isn't done yet, so Mutalisks are able to trade okay, but I mean, every time the mutas pull back, Marines start firing at drones, so Stryker's really on a clock here, and he's already taken catastrophic damage. I mean, behind this right now, I'm sure Gypsy's about to throw down his factory if he hasn't already. He's just pumping out Marine Medic. And Stryker's probably going to be forced to do something like go all in with Mutalisks at this point. I don't know what his other options are.
Probably some sort of weird all in.
But Gypsy already up to 5 racks, it looks like, so I have no idea how that's going to manage to punch through.
Yeah, I wonder what he was thinking when he saw the move out.
Yeah, he did. And we see it, we had a little break off SCV, it looks like, or Firebat even, and it's going to find that third base, so drones have to evacuate, even less mining for Stryker, and we see him going beelining across the map. He's got to make something happen.
I suspect this will do no damage.
That's a brave assessment on your end.
Yeah.
I think it was really smart from Gypsy to go straight for 5 racks here. There's not a huge rush to tech up, because like we mentioned, the most likely strategy from Stryker in this position is probably just going for some sort of all-in. So just making sure you have maximum number of Marine Medic, you're able to keep pressure on them if they do decide to go for some crazy like droning up strat.
Marines are very weak, famously weak unit, but they do okay against most Zerg choices.
Yeah, Marines paradoxically simultaneously some of the worst units in the game, but once you get enough of them, they're pretty effective, turns out. I'm surprised Gypsy's actually moving across the map with just this small count of Marine Medic. Having 4 medics is super nice, obviously, but it's only 8 Marines. I mean, it keeps the pressure on Stryker, so he's not able to just drone in peace, obviously. But if Stryker really committed to making Zerglings here, he could easily isolate and kill this army.
Yeah. I heard a scan go off though, so maybe he scanned and saw.
Yeah,
saw
probably
something.
keeping an eye on the tech. He wants to make sure that Stryker doesn't skip up to Hive without his knowledge of it. A little bit questionable Mutamicro there, losing several mutas unnecessarily. And Gypsy's reinforcing this position, so 5 Mutalisks.
Yeah, that's rough.
Don't know
Really
if
rough
that's enough.
position.
I mean, we see these Mutalisks spawning and immediately having to fight Marines. Just not an optimal situation for Stryker at all. And
It's important for mutas to have a childhood, you know. It's like
they need their formative years. If you just throw them right into the meat grinder from infancy, they really don't perform at the best.
they just, yeah.
But he's able to clear out that one set of Marines, but as soon as he accomplishes that, here comes the next set. And it looks like Stryker is just about ready to tap out. Loses that whole set of Mutalisks. He got nothing. No lurkers, no sunkens, no tech.
Yep.
No future, no culture, no hope. And it looks like Gypsy's managed to do the impossible. Perhaps he's actually going to win it. It's Terran vs. Zerg. Stryker going for the drone drill. Last-ditch effort to try and maximize his time in this game, but it looks like that time has come to an end. GG. Gypsy clawing his way back in the series.
Stryker a little greedy there.
A little bit greedy would be a little bit of an underestimation, I would say. Understatement, perhaps.
I think maybe he's just very comfortable. He just thinks doesn't respect Gypsy.
I think in a lot of scenarios, it's fine not to build that first set of Sunkens against the 2-Rex push-out. When you're going for 2-hatch Mutalisks, your mutas are out so quickly that you're able to often intercept that group before it hits your net and start wearing it down. But maybe just due to the nature of Command Center first and the fact that Stryker only went for 5 Mutalisks, Gypsy was just able to do so much DPS that 5 mutas aren't able to sustain.
Yeah, when I've seen like pro games with those builds, I think Zerg tends to make at least one sunken.
Yeah. It would have at least allowed him to get into the mid game, but I also do understand his point of view where you're playing against Command Center first and you were forced into 2-hatch Mutalisk, so you're looking for some sort of edge going into the mid game. Because if you just let the Terran continuously put on pressure, all your tech's going to be so delayed, your drone count's not going to be optimal, etc.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. It looks like Gypsy took a bit of a break. Maybe he's popping off, doing some celebration.
Yeah, he probably took a couple of laps around the house after that one.
High five his mom.
Yeah, mom and grandma.
Oh, both
He's got the whole team.
It's 3 generations in one house.
Yeah. Alright, spawning up on the bottom right of Neosylphid, the orange Terran, it is Gypsy. And up at the 12 o'clock location, maybe say this is Mint Zerg, perhaps? Teal?
Mint, yeah. Peppermints, maybe, if you want to be precise.
Okay. We got Stryker. Neosylphid, one of the most standard new maps that's come out in the last couple of years. I'm a big fan of this map in particular. The spawning locations are actually pretty impactful in Terran vs. Zerg. Gypsy got a pretty solid spawn location. Basically, as long as you're not spawning at 12 o'clock with Terran, you're chilling.
Is it because of turret placement?
Yeah, turret placement's a total nightmare. But we managed to avoid that fate, so yeah, I think Gypsy's setting up for a solid game here. I am expecting bio again.
Do you think it'll be a 13cc?
Definitely could be. I would also not be totally surprised if Stryker decided to mix it up with pool first. He hasn't really decided to take the game into his own hands yet. I mean, he did do the Ling All In game 2, but he hasn't opened up super pressure with like a pool first yet. So we'll see.
I haven't seen Stryker use 11 pool much. I've seen him do. Let's see. I've seen him do the 12 pull mutas, the really quick mutas before. I don't know how that does against 13cc though.
Yeah, like I said, I think if you are able to scout it and you just pull a couple SCVs to the natural, you're able to defend it without taking too much damage, and you probably both enter the mid game about even. Gypsy's going to get a first scout with his SCV, which will let him throw down his command center at 15 or 16 supply if he chooses to skip that second depot. Always a nice little boost.
Scouting Zerg first.
On Sylphid, it's actually possible to scout Zerg first almost every single time if you just scout a little bit along the path that their Overlord would take, and then if you don't see it, you just choose the other option, and you'll get there in time to throw down your command center at 16. Obviously, Zerg can switch up their Overlord scouting locations, but that kind of makes their life a little bit harder for the trouble, so not a bad map for Terran. But Zerg, on the other hand, there's a total plethora of locations to take your 3rd and 4th gas at. There's a bunch of high ground gas bases, so even doing something crazy like Zerg taking the, like the 7 o'clock base and making Guardians or something stupid, or taking the 3 o'clock base and doing something like Lurker drops or some dumb shit, so.
Yeah, all three, all of the high ground bases are viable.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I think I've seen, I've also seen a lot of Zergs just take like the natural or the main the 3rd base. So.
Yeah, yep. Like I said, if you open Mutalisks, you make it pretty hard for Terran to get out on the map scouting with SCVs and stuff. So if they burn a couple scans looking for the 3rd and they don't find it, Terran can start to really panic and lose a little bit of control. We see Gypsy playing safe, making this bunker. We saw that Stryker made 3 sets of Lings, so we're just playing it safe here.
Yeah.
Not rushing our academy timing, most likely. Although we did see his gas go down pretty early, maybe like a 325 gas.
Why didn't he make a second racks?
Looks. Oh, interesting. Okay, looks like we're going for some sort of delayed mech here, or maybe delayed 111. Not the most orthodox build from Terran, but like I said, I think Gypsy's looking to try and play some sorts of mind games against Stryker. I think he feels confident in a straight up game, so he wants to start trying to get for those mental edge points. Really a Flash-esque move, if I could say so myself. I mean, some have even gone as far to call him the Flash of NA. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. Stryker going for a run-by with Speedlings, but there is a bunker here, so we're only going to get 4. Yeah, we see the factory, so already Stryker knows. I was going to say he knows what's up, but this isn't even a real build, so he doesn't know what's up. But he knows that something's up.
If you step as Zerg, you're not really sure what you're seeing.
You're not seeing a real build, but Gypsy's trying to take out these Lings before they manage to continuously scout. Obviously, if we're throwing down a starport, we don't want him to see that, but it's a little bit late for that, lads.
Wow, he sees the armory too.
Yeah, so if Stryker wanted to, you could just drop a Hydra in and go for some insane, like, Lurker Hydra all-in, or just play standard if he wants to. I mean, either way works. We saw him do great against the Valkyries already in this series, so
yeah,
he might just not be scared at all.
I mean, he took an extremely fast 3rd.
Right. Like I said last time, I mean, the pressure is completely off of Stryker at this point. He has so much breathing room to just drone up as much as he wants. We could see him do something similar to last game where he just goes for 5 Mutalisks and then transitions. Obviously, if you know your opponent's going Valkyries, you're not entirely psyched up about making tons and tons of Mutalisks, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some sort of tech switch after the first couple mutas.
A lot of Zergs. Wow, is it just one muta? I guess he's making just a few. At least one to confirm the tech.
Yeah, I like this.
I guess most telling would be barracks count.
Yeah, or seeing that academy come down. But yeah, one muta confirms the second barracks, so we know it's not mech, we know it's not some craziness. First Valkyrie's already on the way. And that SCV actually got right by those Mutalisks.
Okay, this Evo timing makes me think it's going to be Ultra.
Yeah, he could do what he did game 1, just skip those Lurkers, go straight to Ultralisks. That seems to be his go-to against against Valkyries. And it seems, in theory, it seems pretty strong. I mean, there's just no real mid-game push coming from Terran. Oh, he takes a scourge hit, it looks like, but manages to not die. So, keeping that first Valkyrie alive is super important, but he did take quite a few SEV hits, or
Yeah, there was
SEV
at
losses.
least 6, right?
So, good micro from Stryker. With only just a few Mutalisks, he's able to considerably hamper Gypsy's economy going into the mid-game.
Yeah. All drones.
All drones all the time, baby.
Yeah.
And we see Gypsy opting not to go into +1 attack on his Valkyries. Not ultra surprising. Some turns decide to do that if they see by the time you're ready to go for +1 attack, you're not going to know whether your opponent's going all in on mutas or if they're even getting their armor upgrade. But if you have a suspicion that they might, going for +1 air attacks is viable.
You just have to gamble it?
I guess so. I just remember Scan mentioning it once in one of his streams right after the Flash Valkyrie moment happened, I guess. But Gypsy trying to preempt his opponent, moving out a lot earlier than he did last game. He's only got 2 Valkyries this time, but honestly, a comparable amount of Marine Medic is to that first push. Oh, nice back shot.
Stryker won't have Rickers or Ultras for this.
Yeah, so if Gypsy plays decisively here and starts moving across the map right now, we're going to see Stryker. He's going to have to come up with something. I mean, delaying like this is great, but I mean, taking huge volleys on those Mutalisks. Those mutas are completely shredded. All those mutas are like 1 hit away.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see Stryker holding this push.
This is rough. Yeah, this is really rough.
We see him just panicking, throwing down Sunkens, but the rush distance on Neo Sulfid is not particularly long.
He's got to deal with these Valkyries too somehow.
Yeah, while this bus is happening, these overlords are about to get absolutely shredded. So even if he does hold by some miracle of modern science or magic or what have you, these overlords for sure are getting wrecked. Okay,
that was like the best possible engagement you could have asked for.
And Valkyrie's not taking the opportunity they had, but forcing Stryker to put down sunks like that, rush those lurkers out, lose those Mutalisks, and now we're just killing all those LVs, so definitely not a bad situation for Gypsy, but I think he could have played a slightly more decisively with that move out, and he would have absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that was somewhat sloppy.
It is understandable though. Moving your army across the map when your opponent has Mutalisks is a pretty tall task, especially
when you're playing for life-changing amounts of money.
Right. We can't forget that Gypsy's not going to be able to afford his medications if he. No, I'm just kidding. And yeah, we see Gypsy. I mean, he's just flying these Valkyries around, getting whatever value he can out of them. I mean, it's highly unlikely that Stryker would decide to switch back to mutas at this point, and we already are making our vessels, so even if he did, it would be too little too late. So we can just trade these Valkyries for Scourge and Overlords and be totally happy with it.
Yeah, what's the, can we see the saturation for the Zerg third?
It looks like it's pretty heavy there.
Yeah, he's got a lot of giants.
So, the only thing I'm worried about, well, not the only thing, but Stryker's going to have, this seems like a hard time taking a 4th base from this position. He might be able to sneak a drone out to like one of the left side bases, but as soon as Gypsy picks up on that, he's going to be able to start applying major pressure. Looks like Stryker's prepping for some sort of dropship play, which actually doesn't surprise me, but if Gypsy scans right now, he can just stim in. The lurkers are totally out of position. We're going to get a couple of Sunkens at the bare minimum. Pulling back. But yeah, I mean, even taking out one Sunken colony puts quite a bit of pressure on Zerg.
Yeah, this is a rough phase of the game.
Right. It's that awkward teenage years of Zerg where they're going through puberty. They have 3 gas, but not quite 4 gas. They don't know how to use it yet, you know. Yeah. Ultras are only halfway done. Their voice is changing. It's a hard time. Their body's changing in mysterious ways. I would like to see a couple more medics from Gypsy, perhaps. It looks like they got a little bit of a sausage party going on.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
I don't know, actually. I just kind of thought it sounded cool. Looks like Stryker's trying to take a small task force across the map. Doing Defiler counterattacks like this is really dangerous, but at the same time, it's really small. And Gypsy's going to spot it. force the lurkers to burrow and delay this push somewhat, but I mean...
I think Stryker's gonna get a free swarm at the natural.
Yeah, Gypsy's moving his army back, trying to intercept any reinforcements that could be coming, but... Oh! Nice run away from Stryker.
This reminds me, there's a Terran I really respect who always talks about this situation.
Yeah.
How Defilers are unbeatable.
It turns out Firebats do damage under Dark Swarm though, so it looks like he's going to be able to take out a couple of these lurkers. It's hard to tell under the Cheeto dust.
I think it's just one lurker left.
Just one lurker left, and we have a complete surround on this location, so it was a good attempt by Stryker. Somehow he wasn't able to win from that position, but...
It's a good time to take a 4th base as Zerg right now.
Right. You have the whole Terran army distracted back at home, and it looks like he's just doing that.
Yeah.
He's a couple seconds behind you, Intrigue, but I mean, he's getting close. Weird position on these lurkers. They're just going to die for free. Well, yeah.
He's going to run them. Yeah.
Those Marines were on move position, otherwise those would have been free kills for sure. But Gypsy has his third base. He has a big Rax count. Upgrades are coming along well. So he's doing fine.
So around this time, the threat of Plague... Oh, it's already out.
Yep.
Yeah, buys Zerg a lot of time. Gives Zerg a lot of breathing room. Just the threat of it.
Definitely. But it looks like Gypsy is unable to break these positions as it stands. Ultralisks are out. I don't want to speak out of line here, but I think the Ultralisks may just be a tad early. They cost quite a bit of gas, and I mean, they're just getting irradiated here, and they're not really accomplishing anything. Usually, you wait a little bit later to go into the Ultralisk, but I mean, Stryker did get away with only making a handful of lurkers, so he does have gas to spare.
Yeah, he also has that +4 armor. Honestly, I'd like to see more Plague, and maybe a Spore Colony.
Yeah, help deny vessels as much as possible.
It really protects your ultras.
Yeah. I mean, all those ultras are at like 25% health at this point. They're just going to pop as soon as the engagement starts, so... A little bit risky. Gypsy's starting to make some dropship moves. Ooh, nice Plague, but denies the 4th base for now, so... As long as Zerg is on 3 gas, it's totally manageable, and Gypsy sees the time to strike is right now. Darkstorm comes, 7 Ultralisks pop out, and it's time to back up.
Gypsy's striking Stryker.
Whoa. Nice pun, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Looks like Gypsy's meeting up with the rest of his army. As soon as those reinforcements come, he should be able to take this out, although he is bleeding a bunch of Marines for just about no reason. Maybe there's a missed rally point.
This is not a good situation for Terran. Right here?
No. Believe it or not, when there is 9 Ultralisks coming into your 3rd base, it's not ideal, but Gypsy does have quite a few reinforcements coming in, and like I said, half of those Ultralisks are pretty softened up, and fighting in just about the worst SimCity possible. I mean, there's no
those deep towers are saving him.
Yeah, absolutely, but it might not even be enough. I mean, here come the Scourge even, taking out vessels. Gypsy's going to be able to hold for now, but he has taken quite a bit of damage, and he's lost initiative on the map. So, this Ultralisk timing may have even been ideal, if anything. Looks like it's about time to back up, but no, here comes the Defiler.
Wow,
and with this 3rd base tonight, Gypsy's just about mined out in his main and his natural, so he's going to be running on fumes for a little bit, losing all these
Desperation drop, I think.
Yeah, we could see a Doom drop, try and turn things around, but I mean...
Oh, it's just one dropship. One
dropship, 1 HP, 1 dream. But as Zerg switches their sights to the natural expansion of Terran, it may be just about time to crown our first foul play NA champion.
I think Stryker played this really well.
Yeah, he really did. I was quite impressed. The fact that he managed to hold that first push, I was very surprised. Those panic sunken colonies really came in clutch.
Yeah, and I think he made just the right amount of lurkers.
Yeah.
He made like 3, right?
It was a really small number.
Yeah, it's really easy to overmake lurkers though.
Yeah, they cost a ton of gas. Obviously they cost supplies, so you're spending money on overlords as well, so Trying to really
It's a
minimize.
Drop at the third for Stryker. I wonder,
Yeah, behind the
I don't think it's
minerals
enough.
and gas. It's going to deny mining for now, but I mean, what is it going to accomplish in the long run? We're about to start camping the production of Terran, and once that starts, it's just over. Not exactly unexpected for Zerg to win against Terran in a matchup like this, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, Stryker's played quite well. This job is doing more damage than it should, but Lurkers and Ultras are here. Firebat's not great against Ultralists. I read that in the Primus strategy guide.
Is that why you're so good?
Yeah, you could say that. That's why I've achieved such dizzying heights. One Marine drop in the main. Marines are good. Are they that good though?
Man, this Gypsy looks mentally broken.
I mean, no man that makes this many Firebats is in a good spot in life, I can tell you that much. There's clearly a bigger issue at play here.
Well, I'm glad he has the support of his family in these times.
Yeah.
His multi-generational household.
Here comes the Ultralisk train. I think it's time for Stryker to bring a drone across the map and build a hatchery in Gypsy's natural, because it is time to exit the game, my friend. GG's. Father's father gets out of here. And Stryker takes home a foul play NA number 1, 3-1, making it look easy.
That was a great series. I think he played really well.
Yeah. Congratulations to Stryker. Also, congratulations to Gypsy, taking home 30% of that prize pot, a small windfall in Canadian dollars.
Congratulations to us for
oh yeah,
the cast
dude,
the series.
We did great, man. I mean,
we get paid a lot too. Did you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's enough, but we did it, guys. We got through the full cast. Looks like we might want to get Stryker in here for a quick winners interview. Ask him a couple questions about the intense brain power that went into winning this series. Stryker's hands are probably shaking from winning that game. I mean, he must just be so overjoyed that I understand his delay into getting into the call. Oh, here he is. The big champion, Stryker. Congratulations, man. You're muted.
Stryker, you're muted.
He's just here to observe.
Hey, sorry, I was on mute, so can you hear me now?
Yeah. Congrats, Stryker.
Yeah, congrats. I wanted to ask you, what was your game plan going into Game 2 on Optimizer? I know that's a really strange, unorthodox map, and some Zergs have a hard time against playing mech on that map. So what was your game plan going into that game? Were you just committed to the Ling All In from the start, or was there something you scouted that tipped you off to that strat?
So on that map, I've played it maybe a couple times. I practiced with some people, like 4 or 5 times, but yeah, I wasn't too familiar with it. I figured I saw a lot of games where the Terran went mech, and right. I had been working on like an all-in that works fairly well against mech. So when I scouted him and I scouted fast gas, then that's when I decided that I was gonna go all in. And actually, the follow-up was supposed to be lurkers, but I actually by mistake made my Dan a little bit late.
Yeah, the Dan timing is weird.
The genius casters over here actually picked that one up, but yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to finish on time with the layer, but
right.
Yeah.
It was also really good for me because it was last scout for him, right? He didn't scout me until like the very end. He couldn't see what I was doing inside my base, so yeah, the positions were pretty favorable for me for sure.
Also, game 1, when you saw that vulture come in to your nat at the initial time, did that tip you off that there was a factory up top? Because it came in from a slightly weird angle.
Yeah, it came from the top.
Yeah, so I've actually faced similar things on ladder a bunch of times, and like it's basically like a fake 8 racks. I mean, it is an 8 racks, but it's not supposed to do damage. It's supposed to like make you overreact. And it's like 2 Marines and an SCV, and I realized that it wasn't really like a strong 8 racks pressure. So
Right.
I already had guessed that it was going to be a vulture, and I actually scouted with my overlord like downward first because I hate getting my overlord picked off against 8 racks, and I also scouted that he wasn't making a command center. So yeah, I figured typically against 8 racks factory, if they build it in the main, like their vulture's pretty late, and typically your timing is like you build it at 3:30, right? But and it you can be a little greedy and build it like 20 seconds later, but I played
There's nothing was early.
Yeah, I played it safe, and I just built it pretty early because I felt that a proxy racks or proxy factory was like very, very possible.
Sure.
Do you tend to like that response? Mass mutilating against one-on-one, that first move out?
So I did that because I knew I was very ahead. Like I took no damage from 8 racks. He spent a bunch of money on the factory, and he also made like 3 vultures, which he couldn't run by, because I also anticipated that as well. And so I typically only really do that if I'm ahead, because they have a timing right before your ultras if you don't have that advantage. And I wouldn't have gone straight to ultras if I didn't have that.
Yeah, it looks like you went for quick ultralisks a handful of games here. Is that a style you've been playing a little bit more of, just going light on the mutas and lurkers and straight into that +1 defense and ultralisks?
Yeah, I've been watching some VODs of like Soma and stuff, and the key point at least nowadays in the meta seems to be like fast armor upgrades for Zerg and versus Terran.
Like after 6 meters.
Yeah, like really fast +1, and then once your ultras get +5, they're just like super strong. And especially if like the other guy did like some weird tech, like Valkyrie is like their tech is going to be late.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually I didn't expect Valkyries, but and I wanted to do a little more damage with my mutas. Like my Scourge micro wasn't very good. But I knew that like he's giving up on science vessels, he's giving up on like faster upgrades and stuff. So I knew if I just held strong and just made ultras, like he just wouldn't be able to block it in time.
Yeah.
So for game 3, you saw his move out, right? But then I think you canceled as something, or you didn't make it something. Did you think he was just faking you out?
No, it was. I should have built it early on, because like probably the most common follow-up to a 14cc is just like a fast 2x move out. Except it's like much more scary than like a regular 2x move out, because it's like super like economically fine. So I kind of I should have built my sunk earlier, but I built it late, and by the time I built it, I realized like, it's not going to help me anyway, and so I just canceled the last minute because I felt like it wasn't going to help anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. I have a question about the last game. What were you thinking when you got in this base and you saw factory and armory?
I honestly wasn't expecting it. I did the run by because I felt like he wouldn't make that many Marines to defend his front wall, and I was gonna like pick off some SCVs, like just transition normally into like whatever Marine medic versus mutiling. But yeah, I saw the factory. I was like, wow, is this like he's like pulling a flash basically? Like I've never seen him do this build. Like
it seemed
or whatever. Yeah, and like like flash during the finals. Semi-finals rather, he pulled out these Valkyrie builds, and I was like, huh. Like I saw the Almery too, so it was clearly not like ice vessels, it was Valkyrie.
Yeah, it seemed like Gypsy put a strong emphasis on playing unorthodoxly in this series. I know you guys have a ton of history playing and practicing together, so I assume I haven't seen him play most of these builds. I assume that's the case for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, to his credit, I think he prepared some builds ahead of time. But I guess I came in with a good mentality because I felt like anything was up for anything could happen. Like I wasn't like hard committing to like a Marine medic comp, and I felt like like if this is the time to pull out like weird strategies, like we'll probably do it now. So I would say I was overall like mentality wise I was ready. Like obviously, I don't think I've ever really played against the Valkyrie build that often, but I kind of just like, just thought about it. And I was like, okay, well, if you make Valkyries, then that's like late vessels, like late upgrades. So it's need to like hang on to ultras.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great series.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for organizing.
Of course. Hopefully, we'll see you back soon. Maybe we'll do like a winner's stay type format. We'll find another challenger for you. But until then, congratulations. Enjoy your heaps of prize money and new fangirls. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Yes, yeah.
And with that, I think we are finished with the first Foul Play NA. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I had a good time casting this with my boy Intrigue. Congratulations to Stryker. Congratulations to Gypsy. Yeah.
Congrats. Thanks for watching, everyone.
And thank you to Keen for observing. Give you a little shout out.